Welcome to GoToMeeting, online meetings made easy. There are 5 other callers on the call.
Hey guys, good evening. Just give me 2 minutes, okay? I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Busy, Ban.
Yes. Oggi scaccettate lei.
Can you hear me? Okay, hold on. Let me connect to the server. Okay, Why did you restart at 96? When did you restart it? That's the one that is running Vcenter. If you restart that, then come on, Arvind, there will be power, right?
Deepak, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
Why did you reboot it just before the call?
There was some. Yeah, I was trying to check something and it didn't work. So then it hung actually. Then I rebooted.
No, that is 96. What server we had? Which server had that VM?
Actually, you have. It is on 96 only, but
Oh, that's
it was.
correct. I renamed that, right? Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah, this is the one.
So why is it not working? What was the password? Welcome one, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So this is not starting. Zero. Yeah. Hey guys, so this is a problem. I don't know why that service, what is triggering that service. I don't know. So I'm going to do a reboot one more time, and see whether that will solve the problem. So when you restarted randomly, you didn't check what the problem was. Did you verify? So, that's the thing. Be careful on restarting the host. Now this is the problem. When you restart, you have to make sure that the host comes back online, the vCenter comes back. These are all problems.
I just tried it a few minutes ago. It was a few minutes ago, so I didn't have much time to look at all this.
So what
That's the reason, for some reason, where the data stores are been modifying and adding, deleting for the NFS, suddenly it hung. So then I went to ILO and rebooted this machine. Then after rebooting,
you went to ILO and rebooted the server?
Yes.
So you got the password for ILO?
You didn't change it. I wanted to say that you didn't change it. You have to change it now.
Okay, that's fine. No, I was just asking. I thought I changed for everything. That's fine.
No, you didn't. You didn't change it. And even vCenter was inaccessible at the time.
So what happened here? Did anybody made any changes to this server? You know, that's the reason typically I don't give administrative access, you know, so I always install Vcenter on a separate box. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying pointing anybody. You know, it could be somebody might have tried to start the service, delayed, or change something. We don't know, right? So it's not even starting. So first of all, the SQL Express has to be running. Okay. Let's give it some time. You know, it looks like. And without starting this, I mean, there's nothing much to do, but I just wanted to do certain things. Let's say give it a few more minutes. Did you try to start the service?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Basically, like, you know, when it hung, I tried to log into ILO and it was successful. Then I rebooted the server. That's it. And after that, I came to the like ESX vSphere, the ESX server, and then I started the like, you know, VM. Then I tried to log onto the vCenter, and it was not logging in. And in fact, even before I was rebooting, I tried to log into the vCenter. Then also it failed. When I tried at 6 o'clock, it worked, but not in a recent past, like in around 8:15.
Okay, so that's fine. It's working now. So nobody added anything, any servers, nothing? Okay, I told you not to add, right? Or did I think I told you to add servers, right? Something really funny is going on. It's very slow. I don't know why. Okay, so guys, I'm not going to do anything. You know, you guys should add the other host and try to, you know, work it out. We're not going to get into details. You know, you know, we're not going to talk anything about vCenter. You know, that's the thing. Basically, I'll come back and then only we're going to do it. So what I'm going to do today, first thing is, and then we have to talk about the switch thing, you know, the VLAN. It's not much thing, but I will talk about it. Before doing that, let us go and install this VMware vSphere web client. So if you click on that, you can see that VMware vSphere web client installs the web client server. That's a web, even though it's called as web client, it is installing the server component of that. And we will see what the beauty of it. The beauty of that is the new web client is very, very powerful, and the new features that are provided by VMware with vSphere 5.1. See, vSphere 5 and then 5.1. When they moved from 5 to 5.1, they added some new features. For example, I told you a vMotion without certain things and all. Those things can only be done using the vSphere web client. The normal web client, the normal client, vSphere client does not have that. So basically, they are moving, or the trend is showing that VMware is slowly moving away from the thick client. They are encouraging people to use the web client, which is pretty much looks like their VMware vCloud Directors interface. So they wanted people to get used to it so that, you know, cloud and vSphere, you won't see any differences. That is all their that is what they are looking for. That's what my take on it. So going forward, you can see much more enhancements and much more richness coming to this VMware vSphere web client. If you know you don't know, that's why. But if you look back, VMware probably even starting from ESX Server 2.0 onwards, they had a web client which was not very powerful and which was not very useful. You could only do a very minimal things. You can power on a VM, you can see a VM, power off a VM, things like that. But you cannot do any management of a vSphere using the web client. But now with the new VMware vSphere web client, you can do anything and everything that you can do with a actual vSphere client. So all these functionalities, everything you can do using a web client, using any browser. So that is where they are going. So let us just install this and then we will see how to proceed. I haven't had another depot. Will need to add admin remote access. Okay, I know that. Okay, let me do that. So meantime, let me do this. So you created all the users, right? You send the password information to all of them. What I'm doing here is I'm creating a group called Vcenter admins. So you are trying to add from this abc.com. That was your problem. Arvind, you should have selected that local box and search. That was the problem. So you should add all these users. Okay, so now I created a group called vCenter admins and I put you guys into that group. And now what I'll do is I'll come to the vSphere client. This installation is going. I'm just kicking start this installation, guys. Hold on a second. Click next. It's a simple installation, guys. There is nothing much, VMware vSphere web client. It just install the web server and then you will get it. So these are the two ports, 9090 and 9443. This is the port we will be using. You can use 9090 also, but 9443 is the important port. You need to use 9443. The website or the web client works on these two ports. So we will be using HTTPS, and it is recommended to use HTTPS with 9443. This will be the web link. You can use look up service URL, vCenter single sign-on administrator. So here you can give the one. I don't know what the purpose of this is. This is always asking. I think that is for some administrative purpose. Frankly speaking, guys, I don't know what that is. I didn't do any research on it, but I have to read about it. This is basically for single sign-on. It's not required for us. So I'm just clicking next and moving further, okay? Oh God, this is the problem. This is something we gave yesterday when we installed single sign-on. I thought I gave welcome one. I remember it was asking me to enter. You remember yesterday it was asking me to enter a character also, symbol also. I think I did something like I don't know what I did. Shit. Now how to get that password? Admin at system domain. What if we cancel it? No.
Maybe you want to check in the database?
I don't think that will be stored in the database. It will be definitely in an encrypted format.
Deepu,
Yep.
can you try that? There's one more command. Hold on, I'll give you that. There's one command. Hold on.
For this, the new current password is the needed, man. The current password is needed. That's the problem.
I didn't see that.
Let me try something. Okay. That's bad. Shit. So we have to find some option to do that. I think trying another workaround. Let's see if that will work or not. Some days are like this, man. See, I thought of talking a lot of things and I don't have time. Actually, I thought of stopping at 10 o'clock. But look at what's happening. Shit. Why do they have all this shit? Can you just check what was the requirement for SSO password? I know it was asking for a special character, and I gave a special character, and that's a problem. I don't remember that. I think it was welcome one, and then I think I didn't change this. So let me try this one with a special character. I'm going to try one by one now. Okay, that's not working.
What's your special character? Is it at the rate of or?
Yeah, I think I gave at the rate or exclamation or something, but I'm not remembering which one. That's the problem. I $ or whatever. So I'm trying now one. I'm trying one by one now. Let's see.
Did you make one as exclamation? Sometimes we do that, right?
No. I mean, I didn't make it complex. I just put, since it asked for that thing, I gave some value at the end. That's all I did. Let's try all this for a minute. Let me see. That's the last one.
Don't you think it's been locked? You tried.
I don't think there is any locking. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Shit. What did I give back? Yeah, it gave some error, but that was nothing. It took that value and went. I gave something I thought I'd never needed, just gave it. That was the problem. See, that's the thing, you should never take things simple. Alright, so I'm giving up, guys, so I don't want to think we can do it. So what we should do is,
Did Satya install Vcenter?
Welcome one, right? I think it's not allowing because single sign-on is not there now. That's the problem. I mean, it's a good lesson for me. This is actually a big problem, if something like this happens. But there should be other ways, but I don't know. We may have to call VMware to find out what to do. But there could be some ways to reset that password. But I think just like critical, that is actually a very critical password. So that is what I think we need to be aware of. Okay. So meantime, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start this Vcenter appliance. We talked about this yesterday. And you can see that it is came up with this IP address 10.10.106.5480. So what you need to do for that is, let's go to that server, let that installation happen. I don't want to waste the time here. So I'm trying to go to that appliance. That's another vCenter actually. So https://10.10.10.106:5480. That will take you to the administration page of the vCenter appliance. I think the default password for that is a vCenter. I think it's VMware admin, VMware, I believe. No, that's also. Root and VMware. So you log into this. So this is the first screen. Let us do that, guys. Meantime, okay, it is uninstalling that. Let it go. So here is the thing. So this is basically the agreement. You accept the end user license agreement. So this is the appliance. You can see that what you're seeing here is the appliance. You can see that it is actually configuring all the things. So what you don't need to do anything. Nothing to be done on this. It will do its own job. So you can change the password or something. So once you do this, the second thing you need to do is basically there are a couple of things you need to do. Come here. There is actually a database we need to do. So we have to basically configure the database. So you click on the database tab. It supports Oracle or an embedded thing. It is also just like SQL Express. You can use the embedded database. I think you need to do only that. I think you don't need to give any information here. Save that settings. I know that there was also problems in the past, so let me see. This is another problem. Everything is problem. Okay, admin at system domain. I'm giving the password as welcome. 1 with an exclamation, okay? Will come 1 and that exclamation. That's what I gave. Shit. Now what is the essay password? Essay is essay. Ha. Everything is screwed up, man. What is the default essay password for 2000 Express, man? Shit. Alright guys, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not in a mood, okay? I'm getting pissed off with all this. So basically I'm stopping here, but I just want to talk about that switch, and I'll finish off. We'll talk about it once I come back. You know, I'm not in a mood, you know, I don't want to teach just like that. So VLANs, so that's what I'm going to talk about, VLANs. So, you know, so basically VLANs are used. So for example, you see that there are 2 network cards here, right? Okay, so this is a good example here. I can show this. So in my office, you know, I'm just giving some example. We have different IP subnets. You know, our company has a class B IP address, so I'm just trying to give. So we have something like 171.32.x.x. This is basically our IP address subnet. We have an IP address like 171.32.x.x. This is our IP address we bought from the internet, and then our administrators, we have, let's say, you know, just let's take different example: New Jersey office, New York office, let's say our Boston office. We have 3 offices. I'm just giving an example. So in New Jersey, I'm just giving, we have IP addresses like 171.32. That is going to be same no matter what. Dot. Then we have 10.x. That is one subnet. Then we have 171. Okay. 171.32.11.x. 11 like 16.x. We can have different subnets. So these are different subnets. Now if you look at these things, you can see that they are changing this value here. So I can say that this is one subnet, that is another subnet, and we have many subnets like that. If you go back to New York, you can see that it is going to be something like 171.33.x.x, like that. You know, it will be 33.10.x. I'm saying 171. Okay. I'm just giving an example here. So these are some examples. So again, 171.33.12.x. Where .x means .x can be from any number 1 to 254. So these are different subnets. I mean, you know, that is a networking thing that they do that networking thing, and each of the subnet will have its subnet mask and all. So in New Jersey office itself, we have many subnets. Many means 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 35, 40, like that. Many are there for different purposes. Now, these are different subnets, and when they define the subnets, our networking guys normally give it a name, and they call it as, you know, VLAN 1, VLAN 2, and like that. So in this one, if it is .x, I'm talking about this particular value. Okay, this is stable for my office. All New Jersey office, this is going to be one IP address. So this is that value that defines which subnet it is. So they call it as VLAN 10. This is VLAN 11, you know, VLAN 16, this is VLAN 16. I mean, they name it. It can be named anything actually, but you know, now we have a standard, you know, VLAN 16. You can call this as VLAN 25 or VLAN 85, it doesn't matter, but they just call it as VLAN 11. That's our name. So if I have a server, let us say I have an application server and its IP address is 171.32.16.88, and I will say that server is in the VLAN 16 because that is in the 16 VLAN. Correct? This is what that makes it is 16 VLAN. So there are many servers I can have. So this is an app server, and there maybe I have a database server 171.32.10.66. That may be a database server. Then there may be another server 171.32.11.69. That could be a web server. I'm just giving examples. So these are three servers, but now you can see that this is on VLAN 16, this is on VLAN 10, and this is on VLAN 11. So these are all different VLANs. Now let us talk about a switch. So now let us say you have these Cisco switches. In these Cisco switches, what these network guys can do is they can actually configure virtual LANs here. That is what is VLAN. VLAN is actually setups you can do inside the switches. So these are all the different ports, correct? So in Cisco switches and all, you can define which port belongs to which VLAN. So typically in my office and all, you know, we have our networking guys. They may configure and say, you know what, these three ports are VLAN 10. And they said these three ports are VLAN 16. These two ports are VLAN 11. So this is VLAN 16. This is VLAN 10, and this is VLAN 16 or VLAN 11. Now, if I have three boxes, which I said the database server, the web server, and then the other server, where should I connect these boxes? The cable from these boxes should go to a So from the 16 app server, which is the app server, the app server should go to one of the port in the 16. This should go to one of the port here, and this should go to one of the port here. If you connect this one to here, it will not work because this port is maybe some other VLAN. If I connect this server to this other VLAN, it's not going to work because it has to be this IP, because your server is configured with 171.32.11.66. If this is the IP address, then it has to be on a VLAN defined, this VLAN. That's the problem. So these kind of configuration, or let us say you have a another server which is a application domain controller or something, that is again on VLAN 16, you can connect that one to here. So these are direct connections to a port, and that port is defined for a particular VLAN, because that is the networking guys will do. So they will say these ports are, they will tell you where to connect. Normally, you don't even, in my office and all, we don't even connect. We have our networking guys, they do the patching of the servers. So they define these ports based on different VLANs. So one switch can have many VLANs. Sometimes one switch may only have few VLANs. Maybe one switch will be all VLAN. In my lab here, I have one switch and there is no VLAN. It's all just one VLAN. It's like basically it's actually one LAN. It is 10.10.10. Correct? That is my network. You know that all my servers, because I don't have any VLANs or anything defined here. So we cannot do that lab experiment here, but I'm just trying to tell you. So in my lab, all these ports are actually can be configured. You can put a server into this port or this port or this port. It doesn't matter. It's going to work because this whole switches are configured for 10.10.10.x. But in this kind of a managed switch, you cannot just put it into any other ports. Okay. Now, this kind of configuration, when you do this point-to-point, that is called as an access port. So an access port is like a one-to-one connection. So if you configure this to this port, and that port is actually defined as an access port, and you can use that for VLAN system. This port can be an access port. This can be an access port configured for some other VLAN. I don't know. But if you do a one-to-one connection, something like that, that is called as an access port. So typically, if you have a rack mount server.
What is access port again, please?
That is what I'm telling. Access port that's what I'm trying to tell you. So if you have a application server that is, let's say, on a rack, and it has a network card, you connect that server to a switch port. That port is dedicated for that server. That port is defined for VLAN 11. So for example, if you have a server like this, and I want to connect that server to VLAN 18, because the IP address is something like VLAN 18, you know what a VLAN 18 is now. So I wanted to connect it to 18. So this port, the network administrator will configure it as an access port. That means this port is dedicated for VLAN 18. Only computers with that VLAN 18 or computers with IP address 171.32.18.x, they are the only one that can be connected here. So it is called as an access port. If you connect any server from any other VLAN to this port, it's not going to work because this port is defined for that particular VLAN. That kind of a port is called as an access port. Now, when there is another type of porting is called as trunk ports. Trunk ports. Trunk ports are important. Trunk ports are used in a different type of a scenario. Guys, 1 minute. Guys, sorry, man. I have a small issue here, actually. So I got to finish it fast. Okay. So sorry that we'll cover it again, but today the whole day is completely screwed up. There's a lot of problems. So anyway, trunk ports. Can you all hear me? Okay. So trunk ports is basically what that does is the networking guys can configure a switch like this. They, instead of that, hold on, I'll come back and help you, okay? They can actually configure a switch like this, and it will have different ports. They can do like this. They will club couple of ports like this, and they can say, okay, these ports, any one of these ports can be used for VLAN 11, VLAN 16, VLAN 10, VLAN all, or any VLAN. So anything you connect here, they are all going to work for. So in this particular case, let us say these 4 VLANs, 11, 16, 8, 10, and 18. All these VLANs, all these ports can work through these ports. But these ports have to be defined as trunk ports. That is a feature inside the switch. They will define these ports as trunk ports. Or they can configure, it's not like that. They can actually take one of this port. I'm just giving an example. They can take just this port, and they can say, you know what? This port is configured as a trunk port, not an access port. Access port is something like a one-to-one scenario. They call it as a trunk port. That means they will say, okay, this is configured as trunk port, and all these VLANs can work through here. Okay? So now, whether you connect a VM from or ESX server or a web server or anything from VLAN 11, VLAN 16, VLAN 10, or VLAN 8 to this port, it doesn't matter. This port can transmit or transfer packets from all these VLANs. Is that clear? So a trunk port is a port that can transfer multiple subnets, or it can allow the traffic of multiple subnets. That is what a trunk port is. An access port is dedicated to one subnet. That means if it is configured for subnet 25 or VLAN 25, subnet and VLAN are same thing, okay, virtual LAN. So if you configure it for VLAN 25 or subnet 25, it is going to work only for that subnet. Any computer belongs to that can work, but if you put a computer with a different subnet, it's not going to work. Now come to the point. Now I'm coming to a different point. Let us say we have a virtual switch. And this virtual switch is having 2 uplinks. Okay? And these 2 uplinks are connected to a Cisco switch. Port number 14 and port number 15, and the VMware administrator said, okay, these 2 ports are configured for VLAN 18, 19, 20, and 25. Well, let's say 25. So 4 VLANs are configured for this. It is configured as a trunk port. These 2 ports are configured as trunk port, and when they configure trunk port, they said these ports can transmit IPs or any packets from these VLANs. Good. Now you are coming here. You created a virtual machine port group here, and in this virtual machine port group, you put a VM or 2 VMs. The IP address of these 2 VMs are 171.32.18.7, and the other one is 172.32.18.7. 18.9. So 2 VMs. Now can these VMs talk to outside world? They can, because these two ports are configured as trunk ports, and in that trunk port it is defined that VLAN 18 can communicate. Now can you put a VM, another VM inside this port group with 19 VLAN? It's not possible. So if you have another VM, you create another port group here like this and put a VM there, and that VM's IP address will be 171.32.19.77. Now this is in another port group. Now there is another port VM, we have IP address, you have another VM with another IP address, you create another port group for it, and that VM's IP address is 171.32.25.79. Now these three VMs are in different VLANs. I'm sorry, different port groups, but that is not enough. You can do like this, it's not going to work. You have to define that VLAN IDs here. So when you go to a port group, so you understand what I'm trying to show you here. This is all done. The networking team, you don't have to do anything, VMware administrator. If you are planning to put 3 different subnet VMs from 3 different subnets on this ESX server and this switch, you have to tell your networking guys, hey, you know what, these are my 2 uplinks. Can you please configure these uplinks as trunk ports and configure for these VLANs, because then only I can communicate. But that's not enough. You have to go to the VLAN properties of this. I'm going to create a new virtual machine port group. Typically I call this, in that case I don't call dev and all, I will call it as VLAN 25, and then I will put the VLAN tagging. This is called as the VLAN tagging. You put the ID 25 there. Now you click next, finish, and finish. Now you can see here, see that VLAN ID is equal to 25. Now if you have a VM with the IP address 172.32.25.x, you put it here. You put the VM with other one in this one. So you create port groups based on VLAN ID. You can have a VM with the VLAN ID 25, that means subnet 25. You can have VMs with subnet 28. This is not possible. In that case, it's not going to work. If they are configured as trunk port, you have to come here, edit that network, and you have to give it a VLAN ID like 10. In our case, it is 10. It's not going to work in my case now.
So,
now it is VLAN ID 10. Huh?
The switch that you just created, is it like an access port or trunk port?
Which switch?
The one that you just created, the virtual machine port.
This is not a switch. I created a virtual machine port group. I didn't create any access. You don't define any access port or anything here. That is actually on the physical switch. Okay. Access port and trunk port and all done at the layer 2 level. I told you a VMware switch is a layer 3 switch. That is done at the physical switch level. That is nothing. You don't have to do anything. You tell your networking guys, hey, you know what, configure these 2 NICs as trunk port and permission them to access subnets VLAN 10 and VLAN 25. Now you can put all your 25 subnet VMs here and 10 subnet VMs here. Now that, you know, in this case, it's not going to work because I have configured it VLAN ID. So you should go back and edit. Otherwise, tomorrow you will have problems. So I'm going to go back and change that value. You should not be putting any value. VLAN ID 0 means it's actually 0. 0 means you can do any transfer. It is actually you can do any VMs. You know, it's like open broadcast. So that is how you define it. You understand? So now when you have blade servers and all, you know, it's basically in my office and all, we have different VMs from different VLANs. So if I have 10 VMs here, 10 of them will be from 10 different networks, meaning 10 different subnets. If I want to have 10 different VMs with 10 different subnets, how many virtual machine port groups I need? It's a question. Actually, you need 10, and each 10 should be tagged with the VLAN ID. And then you can still work, all that 10 VMs can communicate through this one network card or two network cards. They're all communicating to that through two network cards, but those two network cards are configured at the switch level as trunk ports. You understand? That is what a trunk port means. And that is where you need to use this VLAN ID. So VLAN IDs are very important to understand what is VLAN IDs. You got it? Guys, I have to stop. There is actually a small issue here. So I got to actually look into it. I have to help my wife with a problem here. So I'm stopping, and I don't think I'm in a mood to teach, and we already had some problems. So let us stop here. I will communicate with you through email. I will be available by phone, guys. Please, what I am suggesting is, I don't know, Arvind, if you want, or Sri, maybe you can try to reinstall that whole vCenter on that box. If anybody is doing, you can try that. I uninstalled everything. You can install vCenter there, or you guys want to try, I can give you control. Actually, I will be here, but I can come back. You want to? Shall I give you to control if that's okay? We can actually install it, but I cannot sit for. I can come in between and look at. I have certain things to take care of. I think you can try that. I will give control, I can give keyboard control to, I will give it to Sri. Okay. Sri has more experience in this. So Sri, this is actually, we are uninstalling this, right? Can you move the mouse, Sri, please? Can you move it? Okay, please uninstall this and then reinstall it. I will be here, but I have to come back. I need some help, okay? I need to give some help to my wife. I'll be back.
just trying to install this.